This is Entrepreneurs Get Visible, the podcast for people who want more impact, influence, and income. I'm Anna Parker-Naples, and I'll be sharing with you proven methods from leading entrepreneurs that help you get visible as an authority in your field. Because anything's possible when you get visible. Hello and welcome back to Entrepreneurs Get Visible, or if you're joining us for the first time, welcome for the very first time. I want to talk through today how to know when and what is the right investment for you to make in terms of up-leveling. And I'm a big believer that you do want mentoring, you do want coaching, you do want training, you do want to be continually upgrading your professional and personal development. But how do you know? How do you know with an array of people wanting to take your money, wanting to help you with their service, their offer, their mastermind, their group coaching program, their online course, their one-to-one packages? How do you know what's right for you? And I'm sharing this today because I have just made the biggest investment of my professional life. And that is to take part in a mastermind that will be happening on Necker Island with Richard Branson as part of his work with Virgin Unite, helping entrepreneurial leaders who want to make impacts around the world for global change on some level. And I had to follow my own advice in making the decision whether that was the right investment for me. This is not the first large investment that I have made, and each time that I do, I make sure that I go through a process of evaluation. So I'm going to share that with you today. So how do you know? Well, first of all, I think there needs to be a very basic level of excitement and intrigue about the experience you're going to have. You have to feel as though it's going to help you get the result that you want. And make sure you're clear on the results that it offers. Has the person who is leading the mastermind or the group coaching or the online course, have they actually experienced and achieved the thing you want to experience or achieve? I think that some of the best teachers are the people who have done the thing. So there's an element of making sure you do some due diligence to make sure that the person who promises a result has actually achieved the result. We see this a lot in the coaching space. People promising a 6-figure launch when they haven't achieved that themselves because they fall into traps and habits of effectively copying and mimicking other successful entrepreneurs. So do your due diligence. Are you actually going to get the results that you most need for your own growth? And of course, this is personal growth or professional growth or relationship growth, but you've got to be clear on why you want help and support in the first place. Then that person who is running the mastermind or the group program or the course or the online package, whatever it is, are you actually on the same wavelength as them? Are they actually speaking your language? Do you feel that you have enough know, like, and trust factor from them? There have been times in my history where I have jumped on the bandwagon of purchasing or investing with somebody because other people were. And yet in my heart, I knew that something about them felt misaligned, that there was something in the way they delivered their material that didn't sit right with me. And actually my experience of working with them, whilst they did help me in some ways, actually, when it came down to it, that initial gut reaction, I should have listened to it. I should have heeded it. So is the person who is running the experience, the coaching, the training, are they on the same wavelength as you? When you see their social media posts, do they speak to you? When you read their emails, are they right for you? And I'm talking here, I guess, a bit beyond the sales talk in the emails, because a good copywriter will know how to get under your skin, will know how to reel you in. What I'm talking about is also the other stuff, the personal stuff that they share on social media. Does that make sense to you? Do they feel like you could have good rapport with them? And part of this is making sure you've done due diligence, that you know who it is. You have gone and had a look at their website. You've looked at testimonials that they've got. You've looked at client case studies that they've had. You've looked at their social media. It isn't hard to do this level of due diligence these days. Have you checked out their competitors and what their competitors offer? And where do they sit in comparison to them? So you do want to make sure that whenever you're making a purchase, particularly one that is a stretch for you, that you are as cautious as you need to be. That being cautious doesn't become being overly careful and therefore not deciding to stretch yourself. I do think it's important to stretch ourselves. I know that for me, every time I have invested in my professional personal development, it has helped me in some ways. Often the biggest results come from when I hate this phrase, but I can't think of a better one, when I have more skin in the game, when I have more money on the table, because it makes me step up. And what's interesting, for those of you who have followed my journey over the last couple of years, 2.25 years ago, I signed up to work with Rob Moore, who runs Progressive Properties, but also coaches entrepreneurs and mentors entrepreneurs. I joined his mastermind, which at the time was a 5K program. And at the time, £5,000 was an astonishing amount of money that I could barely comprehend. And it's interesting now because if I hadn't done that training, and I think if it hadn't cost me as much at the time, I wouldn't have got the results that I have now. Sometimes having that financial discomfort, and I'm by no means encouraging you to go out and put anything on credit card or anything like that, but having that financial discomfort and that need to throw yourself into the learnings and trainings in order to get the results back, in order to get the financial growth, sometimes that's a really good thing. And certainly for me, the fact that I've just invested in this experience with Richard Branson and Necker and an incredible group of people that I'll be masterminding with, the fact that it takes me out of my comfort zone financially, my current financial comfort zone, I should say, because it will grow and expand through the experience, means that I will be showing up. I will be making sure that I make the most of every opportunity, of every learning, of every connection that comes my way as a result. I know for myself that if I pay for a course which hasn't stretched me financially, I won't show up for it. And we see this time and again with people in memberships, for example, because it's affordable, they don't show up and they don't do the learnings and they don't take the action and they don't get the results. I see that a lot for people who run business masterminds or success masterminds for entrepreneurs. People aren't actually taking the action. The other thing I want you to think about is this course, this program, this mastermind, not only looking at who's running it, but what is the peer group going to be like? And this is particularly useful in group programs and in masterminds. You want your peers to be at a similar level to you, but that are also going to stretch you. And if they are not those people, you're probably not going to want to show up. So again, this is about doing due diligence, reaching out to the person hosting the program or the coaching or whatever to ask, who's signed up so far? What kinds of people are they? What level in their business are they? What kind of income levels do they have? Because when you do something that's in a group environment, it is about that collective experience. And you want the people around you to support you, but also stretch you. The other thing that I mentioned earlier about having that financial stretch, I think that means you will give more of your time and more of your attention to getting the result. And I think that's quite important. For the offer that's being put out there, are you going to be able to give the time and attention to get the result? Because you can do any training you like, but if you don't implement it, then you've wasted your money. So can you do that? The other thing to consider is how much time do you get and focus do you get and answers do you get about your individual business? sometimes in group programs, there is no capacity for that. And sometimes that's okay, but you want to be fully informed. How much attention are you going to get? Is there a one-to-one call? Is there hot seating? Am I going to be able to get a response when I have a problem? How quickly will that response come and in what format? Am I going to feel that I'm a valued and noticed participant? All of these things really make a difference and should be informing your decisions. So I'm curious then, what has been the thing, the offer, the program, the course, the mastermind that most has intrigued you? That you perhaps think of it as the one that got away, that one day you'd like to do, that's ahead of you, that you're aspiring to do. And also think about those ones you've maybe done in the past that didn't quite get you the result that you wanted. And who has responsibility for that? Was it that the content wasn't delivered in the way that you wish it had been? Was it that you perhaps weren't at the stage in your business to implement the learnings? Or was what was sold to you very different from what you experienced? I'm a big believer that mentorship, training, coaching is vital to your progression. It's vital to your bottom line in your business. At whatever stage in your business, you always want to find people to support you, to support that next level of growth. However, I want you to be very clear about the outcomes you want and where you invest your money. And I use the word invest, not spend. So for me, I'm very fortunate that I genuinely see the huge amounts of money that I put into coaching, mentoring, masterminds for myself is an investment, because I know that I will give the time and attention and throw myself into the connections to ensure that I not only pay for and get my money back, my return on investment, but that I double it, treble it, quadruple it, 10 times it. Can you say the same for your intentions with the next program that you're going to sign up for? So I hope that this has been thought-provoking for you, how to know what's the best investment for you. So we've talked about whether that individual mentor is right for you. Are you on the same wavelength? Do they feel as though they're in integrity and alignment with your beliefs and your values? Have you done your research? Have you done due diligence? Have you checked out competitors? Have you checked out that their testimonials are legitimate? What are the peers going to be like? Are they going to support you, lift you, stretch you? And you can't always know that. You can't always know that. And in fact, the person facilitating a course or a mastermind doesn't 100% know who is signing up until that closed cart moment. But you should be able to get a gist of the kind of level people are at. Are they going to be useful connections for you as you grow and develop your own business? Is it a financial stretch for you? Or does it feel too cheap? Be really wary of courses that feel too cheap because you won't put the time, effort, or attention in. Does it make you feel excited? I'm coming right back to this. Does it, in your belly, make you feel slightly giddy with the fact you're going to do it and learn and throw yourself into it? Does it make you feel slightly uncomfortable that you're about to invest that level? And how much contact time do you get and attention on your unique business or scenario? Every single time I have invested and I've done the work, I have grown and grown and grown. But it's mostly because I'm brave enough in the first place to put that money on the table. So I'm going to wrap up now, but I'm going to share with you about the podcast booking boutique that we're building as a new arm to the podcast agency. So this is something I've had in my mind for a very long time, and haven't quite known when I was going to offer this. But basically, from the moment I launched the podcast membership in January 2020, I had people coming to me saying, can you help me get on more shows? Can you help me get on more shows? And then on the other side, as host of a popular podcast, I get inundated with emails that are poorly written, badly researched, and really not doing any favors for the person who wants to get on my podcast. So I was always really determined that if I did this as an offer, as a service, that I wanted it to be high end. I wanted this to be a long-term marketing strategy that helped to really match people with the right audiences and the right podcast hosts. And so that's what we're building with the Podcast Booking Boutique. The link to find out more and see if you would be a suitable fit to apply. This is application only because we're being very particular about who we have on our roster. If you'd like to find out details, you can go to annaparker-naples.co.uk/podcast-booking-boutique. The link is in the show notes. But I'd love to support you to get your message out there, to help you get more visible and to help you build connections. So go check that out. But I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and I'd love to reach out to me on social media or in emails or whatever and let me know, what courses have you been deliberating on? What packages have you been deliberating on signing up for? Because maybe they don't excite you enough, or maybe you feel that they're too expensive, but you know in your heart it would get you the result. I'd love to hear from you. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Entrepreneurs Get Visible. To get your free checklist on how to raise your profile and to find out about our community, go to annaparker-naples.co.uk/get visible.